Do I look like a gardener to you? I am a better, I am not a gardener. Hedging is for gardens. How does your garden grow?
With plus money.
With plus money. Hedging is for gardens.
Welcome, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live. It is Tuesday, the 17th of February. The gold jackets are on, so that means one thing. It is the UEFA Champions League. It makes a return. We've got the playoff round tonight, the first 4 matches of the round. Nigel, happy Chinese New Year to you. It is the year of the fire horse.
I am.
So let's hope we're firing today. How are you doing?
Is it Chinese New Year today, is it?
It is, the year of the fire horse.
What is
Guess
a fire
when
horse?
the last time? Guess time the last time it was the year of the fire horse.
1966.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
1960. It was.
No,
1960.
it wasn't. The only
It
reason
was.
I said 1966 is that the year England won the World Cup.
Yeah.
And I just for the first year I come up. That
Could the same happen
well,
again?
that is an omen. If I've got the year right without any prep, which is having a complete guess, that means we're going to go through the cards tonight. The year of the fire horse,
The
1966.
year of the fire horse.
I did not Google that. I did not do anything. I just picked the year and just basically thought when England won the World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, 60 years ago. And imagine if that happened again. After that, I think it's the year 2096. So,
Wow.
we've got to make it worth it now. So, yeah. Exciting times, Nigel. The return of the Champions League, first and foremost.
Yeah, very excited. So I've done this for 2 years, and someone said hello, Stephen James. There, it's always nice to see that someone's got my name right after all this time. Yeah, the Champions League returns. It's not, and it's quite a funny one really because it's not like the whole host of matches. It's only like 4 matches, so you get a little bit of time to break them down a little bit more, rather than the last time we've done the Champions League when myself, you, and James, you and I, and Will were on. When we had all those matches, it was like a crazy afternoon, wasn't it? So. Yeah, it's quite nice to just have the 4 matches to look at as well. Also, I've been following the tennis, some big tennis matches coming up in the next 25 minutes. We've got some financial interest in as well. So I'm looking at the tennis as well as that. And I'm betting on the 2020 World Cup cricket as well. I'm on Oman to beat, Nepal to beat Scotland. So I've got loads of things going on. They've lost 2 quick wickets now. So I mean, I'm all over the place at the moment. So yeah, looking forward to this one, mate.
Biggest bet on the sportsbook yesterday was in the cricket, actually. It was on Pakistan women. Live on the money line against South Africa. It was a winner, and 20,000 was blown on Australia to beat Sri Lanka in the cricket. Australia look like are they actually out of the competition yet, or knocking on the door?
Yeah, they're out. Aussie are out.
They're out.
Aussie, yeah. Sri Lanka look really good. I mean, I know it's unfortunate. A lot of people want, but Sri Lanka, and they play a lot of their games at home. I mean, they were a big price. They were like 25-1 at the start. So a young team, they can back. They're fearless. I'm really impressed with them yesterday. Yeah,
it's the time of year where a lot of money starts to be placed on cricket. The IPL will be getting underway next month as well. But welcoming everyone. Loads of you in already. John Tate, Rick Haley, Arun Danger, Rick Haley, Byron Muriel, Mike, Real Brennan King. I've not got anything big on Dortmund today, Real Brennan King. So you're going to have to make your own mind about that. They are not a team that have ever done me really, really well. Villa fan, great to see you as always. Ming Chung, Chippy Chips, Nish as well. Stuart Johnson, a guy called Regina Codes, Stephen Hall, High Tone says Dortmund and Madrid money lining capitals. He's strong on those ones. Stairway to 7, Jake, loads of you in already. Put your best bets in chat. It's going to be pretty busy today, so I might not be able to go all through it, but trust me, I do read all of these comments. Okay, so just looking through the card today, there is a bonus bet which we're going to talk about soon, but we need to crack on with the early fixture. Actually, before then, Champions League winner. Those are the latest odds for those who are interested. Arsenal plus 350, Bayern plus 450. A lot of these teams not in action in the playoff round, of course. They were already in the last 16. PSG are the team at plus 800 there, who are the shortest odds involved in the playoff round. So, yeah, not a lot really changes for quite a lot of teams on that board there, Nigel, who, they're not kicking a ball in this round. But of the teams that are involved in the playoff round, PSG, they will attract some interest at plus 800, won't they?
Well, this is what they did last year, wasn't it? Come through the playoff round, hit their stride in going into this tournament and coming into the latter stage of this tournament. I'm not quite sure whether this team around has got the same kind of swagger as the last year. A lot of players missing from that team that won it last year, including the goalkeeper, who was phenomenal. We spoke about Arsenal last night when we did the reaction show live after the FA Cup draw, their chance of winning 4 titles at this moment in time. But I think there's a lot of football to be played. The draw, we know, the pan out, how it's going to be panning out. Obviously, Newcastle in action tomorrow as well. They're high up on that playoff list as well. But PSG, you know, if anyone, they proved last season that they can win it from this spot. And but they're $8 to do so this time around, which is a bit of a backdrop for them because at the start of the tournament they were rated the best team in European football, and they haven't had the season domestically that we would expect them to have. They're in a title race as well. That isn't over, which is a bit of concern for them as well. But I think at this moment in time, it's a true reflection of where we are in European football. Those odds there. I mean, we've had 8 matches in the competition. We've had almost over half the way of the seasons in Europe. We know the cream will rise to the top, and that's what we're seeing at that list there. Be very, very surprised if anybody can win this competition coming through this qualification stage like last year. I think it's going to be a very, very tall order, even for Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, there's so many strong teams that already have got that bye into the last 16, and if I had to pick someone, it would be from that particular list. The 2 teams that are in action in the early kickoff: Juventus at 66-1. Galatasaray at 150-1, meeting Istanbul. Kickoff 12:45 p.m. Eastern time. Juventus are the favourites away from home in the first leg here, plus 125. Galatasaray plus 215. We've got the tie at plus 245. Over 2.5 goals is I think an attractive bet at minus 127. Despite the actual recent records of both teams in the Champions League have geared more towards unders, which is completely different to their domestic form, Nigel. And domestically, both of these 2 teams are involved in so many high-scoring games. I feel like that we might get sort of back to normal with that in this match in Istanbul today. What say you?
I think it's a little bit. I think first legs in knockout stages of European Cup competitions are notoriously, obviously, tight matches. If you go back through the last 10 years, you look at the first leg compared to the second leg, they are a lot closer, a lot more edgy. People don't want to go into the second leg losing. And I think that's one of the reasons why Juventus here are quite short, because Juventus may be content with the draw going over to Turin, the draw in this match. So I think that is one strategy that you might have to look at in terms of if you want to bet overs, because historically first legs in knockout stages are a lot tighter than in second legs, and I would expect these to be a little bit closer than what we've seen in the group stage, where especially in the last couple of rounds of the group stage where the goals have been going few or far between. The one thing that I was shocked about when I looked at the odds this morning, I was quite surprised that Galatasaray were plus 230 on the opening line with Bet Rivers. That has been bet in. There has been a little bit of a move from plus to 215. I know Juventus have had an upgrade really since Spalletti took over. They've only lost 4 matches while he's been in charge, and he's been in charge for 23 matches. But I still think they're a long way off, and they've got an injury crisis today in attack. You know, they've Vlahovic is out, Milik is out. It looks like they're going to play up McKennie up front on his own. And I would say that the better goal threat comes from the home side here. If you think about it, you know, Osimhen has been 6 goals in 6 goals in 6 matches in this tournament. You got Sane, you know, Icardi as well. I mean, I think that's a better goal threat than the visitors here. And I think people just believe that Juventus come to these matches and defend and try to and frustrate and then go away. That was the old Juventus. And Spalletti has obviously made them a little bit more entertaining domestically, as you said there, Steve. But I was quite surprised that Galatasaray were plus 230. It doesn't shock me at all to see the money come through into 215. And I would expect when the teams come out and you see that weak lineup, which I am expecting in attacking positions from Juventus, I would expect that Galatasaray may even get a little bit shorter on the money line, which brings in them on the Asian handicap. I mean, at home we know they're formidable in their domestic league, you know, over there. But in Europe, in this Champions League, their home form has been great. I mean, they've only lost 1, which that shock loss against Union Saint-Germain. But beating Liverpool, Bodo Glimt, they beat 3-1, which, you know, now looking at it was a good result. And I think it's a little bit disrespectful to the home side here in terms of the money. And I'm trying to get with them in some capacity here I think there could be goals in the match like you, but I think that Galatasaray goals could be on the menu tonight rather than Juventus goals. I know we're teaming up on the daily doubles here today. You've got one leg and I've got one leg, and we spoke off there. I know you fancy a few goals here, but I think the home side are underrated.
Yeah, look, I wouldn't trust Juventus at plus 125. I have a real love-hate relationship with Juventus this season, and whenever I bet on them and they let me down, it's the defense that is the costly one. They can see too many chances. They often have to outscore themselves out of trouble. Big news on the injury front: Jonathan David not in the squad tonight for them, and he's probably the one striker of theirs that you do trust at this point in time. Openda might start, and he's minus 152 for a shot on target, but I wouldn't back him at plus money. He's had such a poor year, Openda. He's unreliable. Galatasaray, someone put it up, I think it was John Tate, that they do have a very good home record. Just one loss in 16 games across the Champions League and League at home this season. So, they beat Liverpool here, like you said.
And that was when Liverpool were doing well. I mean, they weren't going through that terrible run they're having now, or the bad run they had during the season. They were in good form then. I mean, there's a lot of angles I like. The goals here, which we both agree on. I think Osimhen to score any time at a decent price as well. I mean, I know you're a great fan of him. I'd love to see him in the Premier League. I think plus 140 to score any time is a great bet when you consider he scored 6 in 6. I like over 2.5 goals, but I do think that the regular money line price here at plus 215 Galatasaray is too big. I'd certainly be. Well, I will be betting them tonight on the Asian getting a quarter of a goal, but I don't see any value here in Juventus at plus 125, minus 115 Galatasaray plus a quarter. With a half a start and off level ball, as long as Juventus don't win, you collect. I think that's a great price. From what I've seen this season, and this is a poor Juventus side. Obviously, there's been an upgrade, as I said, under Spalletti, but Galatasaray, I think they've been vastly underrated by the books and by the betting syndicates and by the betting public.
The biggest bet on the game is on Galatasaray on the Asian handicap plus a half at minus 137. The biggest prop bet on the game, again a 4-figure bet, is on Victor Osimhen to score or assist at plus 120. Probably my favourite prop for the game, and just paid me out every time now watching this guy. It's McKennie. Someone, I think 2 or 3 of you put it up in chat already, for a shot on target at plus 112, because he, like you said, Nigel, he might play as the false 9 here for them.
I think he will play. Up front. I mean, they're limited in what they've got, and I think he will start to have a shot on target for your main striker at almost even money or around plus money. That is a very, very good wager. I do like over 2.5 goals here. I think Galatasaray will win this 2-1. That'd be my kind of my thinking. I think it'll be open. I think you have a brilliant second leg. I do think both teams will score. I think Galatasaray have got goals in them, and I think they can see goals as well. The only problem for them is they're missing Lemina through suspension as well for the home side here, which is a big blow for them as well. But I think Icardi, Osimhen, and Sane as well are a formidable front three against any team. And Juventus aren't this old lady of conceding, not conceding goals from years gone by. I mean, they're much more entertaining on Spalletti. They've just played their part in a 3-2 great match at the weekend against Inter. Prior to that was a 2-2 draw against Lazio. 3-0, they got beat by Atalanta, and 4-1 against Parma. That's very much unlike Juventus results. And Galatasaray, I am convinced, will score. And I think they'll score they score 2. So I like goals. I like Galatasaray on the Asian handicap. And I'm going for an entertaining match and Galatasaray to edge it tonight.
Yeah, I like the goals. I'm going to bet over 2.5 goals here. I nearly put that as my part of my daily double. I nearly put McKennie as part of my daily double. But if I put McKennie in and that didn't win, I would absolutely crucify myself, to be honest with you, Nigel. So in the end, I slightly bottled that, but I am going to bet him on the shot on target. A few of you did mention him. Like I said, just going through the comments now, that was Humble Levadian who mentioned that. Effie Brilowski says over 1.5 goals in the second half in this game. Effie does like his second half goals bets. Matt Lott, appreciate the comment. Looking good. He says, obviously a step behind the flair of Sir Nigel, but still good. That's a fine compliment from you, Matt.
Matt's very sarcastic. He doesn't give many compliments. He's always quite sarcastic with his comments. But thank you for joining as usual, Matt. And we do laugh at these comments. They're good fun.
We love it. We have a great community here. AUD says, I love this show. Let's cash some bets. Absolutely. Let's hope we can get some really good bets on the card today. 79% of the money is on Juventus. 84% of the tickets are on Juventus as well. That's a bit higher than I expected. And 84% of the money is on the over in the over under 2.5 goals market. So best of luck, whatever you are taking in that match. And maybe you might be able to use your bonus bet on this particular game. We do have a special offer on this week. Champions League bonus bet. If you bet with Bet Rivers in New York or New Jersey only, you can take advantage of a Champions League bonus bet from Betting Weekly. Enter the bonus code BW216 for a $10 bonus bet to use on the Champions League knockout round matches. That's BW216. Offer ends on the 25th of February. Must be 21, eligible players only. And like I said, you've got to be betting with Bet Rivers in New York or New Jersey to be available for this bonus bet. But if you can have it, then good luck, whatever you might take. It's got to be in these Champions League playoff matches. So that's the first game done and dusted. The second match we're going to talk about is in France today on the South Coast. Monaco against PSG. It's almost deja vu from 12 months ago where PSG played against Brest in the playoff round, and they have familiar home comforts again here, going to the Principality as a minus 245 favourite. Monaco plus 600 and the tie plus 400. Got a goal line around about 3.25 on the Asian here. Both teams to score yeses plus minus 162. PSG a minus 1250 to qualify. And Monaco plus 700. Monaco domestically not doing very well in the league. They do have a knack, though, of pushing PSG quite close in this fixture, Nigel. PSG only won one of their last 5 visits to Le Stade Louis II. So can they bloody PSG's nose, do you think, in this one? Or will it be plain sailing for the favourites?
Well, there has been money all day for PSG into the current quotes now. They opened up at minus 220. And they're now being bet into minus 235. So that's a little bit of a money move for them. They've been moving in and out all day. But I think it's quite disrespectful to Monaco, really, in terms of these prices, because PSG aren't having the best of seasons. Monaco aren't having the best of seasons domestically. But at home, they're very, very hard to beat in this competition in particular. I have it that they've only won once in their last 6 visits to the Principality. And obviously, Monaco won this fixture in November 1-0. They've been really good at home this season in the Champions League, Monaco. They played Galatasaray, Juventus, Tottenham, and Man City, and they're unbeaten in those 4 matches against decent opposition there. Obviously, Tottenham aren't the Tottenham we see in the Premier League week out. They're a different animal here. Man City were obviously second or third favourites to win the competition. Juventus and Galatasaray, as we just spoke about, a decent side. So that is good for Monaco. I have a huge injury crisis, though, coming into this match. We don't know what team they're going to put out, but we do expect some big-name players to be missing. I looked at the latest team news, and there's probably about 6 or 7 of their regular first team who are doubts for this match. I don't think all 7 of them will not participate, but I do think some of them, they're missing at least 3 or 4. And PSG are just too inconsistent for my liking. I mean, they're involved in this title race at the moment. They've been absolutely thrashed by Marseille. They've had some really, really bad performances. Their performances in the Champions League this season have been questionable as well. I mean, the one against Newcastle were clearly the better side in that match. But Sporting Lisbon beat them. Bilbao, they drew 0-0. No wins in their last 3 in this competition where they're defending champions. And I do think they'll qualify because at home, I think they'll turn around. Even if they lost this game 1-0, I'd be very confident that they could overturn a 1-goal deficit in the French capital. But I think the line is very, very disrespectful for Monaco. I mean, I quite like Monaco plus 1.25 goals, which is around about minus money, minus 110, I think, last time I saw on that. I wouldn't bet Paris Saint-Germain to beat anybody by more than 2 goals away from home at this moment in time, the way they're playing in this competition, and against a side that they have a pretty awful record on, and who are unbeaten in this competition at this moment in time. I do believe that Paris Saint-Germain will qualify, but getting a 1.25 goal start for Monaco at -113, the only way you're going to lose is Paris Saint-Germain win by 2 or more goals. I think it's very disrespectful. So I do think Paris Saint-Germain will qualify, but I'm not buying into them to win this by 2 goals in first legs. No, not for me at all. I think this is a proper match. And it'd be interesting to see what Monaco team they put out, because these injuries are a concern. But I got a feeling the team needs might be more positive than negative for Monaco bettors. And I think it's very disrespectful, $6 at home against a Paris Saint-Germain side that have got big issues this season.
Yeah, I personally think PSG may well get it depends which version of PSG turn up, though, Nigel. Is it the one that beat Marseille 5-0? A few mentioned the Rennes performance on Friday night. It was awful, and they've not really been at their best this season. And also this record down in Monaco just put me off. Monaco have actually.
Well, that's one of the reasons why you can't bet them. That's one of the reasons why you can't bet them at -235. You've just answered your question yourself. What version of Paris Saint-Germain are going to turn up? With Arsenal, what top version of Arsenal are going to turn up? With Bayern Munich, what version of Bayern Munich are going to turn up? And that's why they're at the top end of this market. Paris Saint-Germain have so many inconsistencies, so many issues internally, I believe. And I don't think they're anywhere near the level what they were coming into this stage of the competition last year. And they're involved in a title race. And I think what you just said there makes the case for Monaco +1.25 even more convincing, because we don't know what Paris Saint-Germain are going to turn up. And that means that the unthinkable could happen. So no way -235 Paris Saint-Germain to me is just a very, very, very low price. And I think it's being priced up because they're the defending champions. Everyone looks at Monaco's league form domestically and doesn't buy into it. But they're like Tottenham Hotspur. When that Champions League music turns on, they're a very, very different proposition to what they are week in and week out in the French league.
They certainly are. I'm going to talk about player props here because my part of the Daily Double involves a player prop. But before that, I think we actually do have the James Easton in chat. And he said a Dingra over 0.5 shots on target is worth a look at +170 with Bet Rivers. Just scored 2 goals against Nantes. He's a new signing in the winter window. And I knew James would be eyeing that one up. I've got that on my shortlist as well. But that looks a good one. But for me, Nuno Mendes, for a shot on target at +145 is one of the best value player props I've seen with Bet Rivers this season, to be honest with you. He's got a fantastic record recently of at least 1 shot on target in 7 of his last 12 games. He's had at least 1 shot in 14 of his last 16 fixtures. And he's had a shot on target in 5 of his 8 Champions League games. He's a left back who always gets 1 decent opportunity per game, it seems. And he's reliable. He can cut inside. He's just as good, really, with his right boot as with his left. And I honestly thought this would be about plus 100. So +145 for a shot on target for Nuno Mendes. I wanted to pick a player who I think is going to be on the field for 90 minutes as well. And he should be lasting the 90 minutes. You pick someone like your Dembele's of this world. Dembele is a slight injury doubt heading into tonight, by the way. Even if he starts, he might only get 55, 60 minutes. So for me, Nuno Mendes for a shot on target is my best bet of the day. So I am including it in as my part of the Daily Double on this one. It's a bit aggressive. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but it is a player prop that I quite like. My big concern for Monaco in this game, Nigel, is that defense, which is missing a lot of players. I mean, they're going to be lining up with Zakaria, probably at centre-back, who's more of a midfielder, alongside Wout Faes. And now Wout Faes was playing in the Championship for Leicester for half of this season. He is a potential calamity at the back. He can be a threat from set pieces, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if he causes a problem the other end. But that does concern me when I see Sideshow Bob starting for Monaco against PSG. But the rest of the team actually is pretty much at full strength in attack. So that's the positive for Monaco. I quite like the idea of goals in this game. I know you don't actually like that many goals in this one. You think it could be quite a tight game overall.
Yeah, I mean, I just go back to that theory of first legs. I just not convinced that going overs in first legs of knockout stage in Champions League is the strategy. I mean, I'm very much old school, as everyone knows on this show. I'm the the grand old man who has these kind of theories that sometimes they don't come through and sometimes they do. But just going back to my early days, and I know the game's changed completely from when I started. I mean, we used to have laces in the ball, and football's very heavy. But I just think first legs, especially a match between two teams from the same country, I think that gives an extra edge. So I'd be more inclined to look at the unders, and then in the second legs, I think that most matches go over and cars explode and various different things happen in second legs of football in knockout stages. But I think both of these sides are not in the greatest form to trust, and I just think the line is too big. I think $6 at home is the wrong price. I'd be closer to something like plus 450, plus 475. I think $6 is only the reason there because of the name Paris Saint-Germain and their history and the fact that they're defending champions.
John Tate said the last 3 row wins for PSG were not very convincing and opposition were unlucky not to get something out of the game. I do agree. They haven't been convincing. They've only been convincing in one match, really, for the last 2 months. So it's, can they suddenly, it's like a tap. Can they suddenly turn it on and off? Again, let's see. By the way, Mendes and Hakimi both didn't play when they lost against Monaco 1-0 back in November. There's plenty of money for PSG, like you said, Nige. 92% of the money on the money lines on them, 95% of the tickets, and 94% of the money on the over-unders. On the over, biggest bet on this game is PSG on -2 Asian handicap. 4-figure bet, over $2,000 at plus 220. Good luck, whatever you are playing in this one. And loads of you already mentioned that $10 bonus bet. Good to see. I'll mention it again soon. But before then, we've got a match. Well, let's go straight into this one now, actually. Benfica versus Real Madrid, because it's going to be the second part of the daily double in this game. Benfica plus 215, the tie plus 265, Real Madrid plus 114. Incredible ironicness of this fixture, Nigel, because the last match day was that bonkers affair where Benfica won 4-2. The goalkeeper scored in the last kick of the game, eliminated Marseille. And here we are again. First round of the playoff, Benfica, Real Madrid. Can you believe it? It's amazing how sport brings these up sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, incredible. And obviously, Jose Mourinho, his one last hurrah against his former club. I mean, it was an incredible match. I mean, in our WhatsApp group for the guys, he exploded when the goalkeeper scored. Lupin scored at the end there. It was wild. I don't think you're going to see anything like that again. I think that when crazy matches like that happen between two sides, the next matches they have to play a huge amount of respect to them, and they don't usually play out the way that they would expect them to play out from that first leg. I do, however, believe that the second leg could be absolutely crazy again. Going back to my theory of first legs over second legs. But I look at this match here and I think to myself, well, where do we go with value? I mean, it's the referee is quite lenient. I was looking at the bookings. Obviously, there was 2 red cards and 6 yellow cards in the last match between these two, and that was a match that could have seen a lot more yellow cards. I mean, the referee does very well to do that, but he doesn't give out many cards, so that doesn't back that up. I look through who would I bet Real Madrid at the price. I don't think I'd take Real Madrid at the price. Do I think that Benfica can come back and perform like that again? No, I don't think they can. I think that was their World Cup final in terms of the way their energy and what they've used since then. They're not involved in a title race, which they're falling behind in the title race, and they're not really worried about that, so they can go in here. And I kept on going round and round and round and round and try to find some value. And I just kept on coming back to one obvious one that was just screaming in the face, and it was Mbappe to score. I mean, the stats, we talk about Harry Kane and Haaland. I think the stats for Mbappe now have gone even better than those. 43 goals in 35 matches for his club this season. He scored 9 goals in the last 10. He scored at least 5 goals. He scored twice in 5 of the 7, 2 or more in 5 of the 7 in the Champions League. 13 goals already in the Champions League, breaking records, 2 or more in 5 of those 7. 13 goals in his last 10 starts for Real Madrid. 2 goals in this match at the end of last month. Prior to that, He scored 4 goals away at Olympiacos in a 4-3 win. He only failed to score in 2 matches against Juventus and Liverpool. And you're getting him at, when he was almost even money to score at any time. He was minus 110. Then he went to minus 118. And now he's minus 125. 43 goals in 35 appearances this season. You do the math. Scored 2 goals in this fixture the last time. Everything that's going to come through Real Madrid is going to come through him. He's on penalties as well. He'll be on free kicks. I think when you get these kind of prices about these kind of world superstars like Mbappe, like Haaland, like Harry Kane, like Messi previously, like Ronaldo previously, anything around even money, you've got to take the bet because the true odds on him to score at any time in these matches are probably close to minus $2, minus 160. And if we looked at the match when he played Benfica last time, he started the match as minus 160 to score any time and got bet into almost minus $2, and he scored 2. And that was only 3 games ago. And now you're getting him at minus 118 or being bet to minus 125. He's had 40 shots in 7 matches in the Champions League this season as well. And he's scored 13 goals and he's over 4.5 shots tonight at minus 103. If you think it's going to be a loopy match, like crazy match like the last one, which I don't necessarily think it will be, but I do think Real Madrid will probably edge it. You've got to be on the Mbappe train. I just cannot. I think he's got to be in everyone's bet. He's got to be in the way of thinking tonight and the way he's dominant, everything. I think that he has got to be the bet. So that is my daily double, part of my daily double today. Kylian Mbappe to score. I bet it like as a just single play at minus 125. We have missed a little bit of the value. It was minus 108. But when you look at his numbers, even the minus 125 is considerable value. You're not going to get him at minus 125 many times this season to score in a match. And his record this season is phenomenal. He's going for the Ballon d'Or. He's a player that is at the peak of his career at the moment, scoring goals, and he's galvanizing his team ever since they obviously got rid of the manager Alonso. He's been the focus, and they're top of the table domestically, and he's leading them. There's no Jude Bellingham tonight, but Mbappe will be the main man. He'll probably take free kicks, he'll take penalties, and a goal for him tonight is my best bet on the night, and will be my part of tonight's daily W.
Yeah, that's the official daily double today. Mbappe to score anytime. And then going back to Monaco PSG, Nuno Mendes over 0.5 shots on target. Comes at plus 341. Quite big odds, actually, for this daily double. Hopefully we can cash it. But I truly believe we've got 2 excellent value player props on there. Honestly, I really feel like the odds should be far shorter for both of them based on lots of...
I think sometimes, reasons. I say this quite a lot, but I think sometimes in betting we go hunting like for... some bets that just like looking for some really obscure player to try have a shot, or looking for some really outlandish player to get either left back in score. It just we delve into the match sometimes, and I think sometimes the obvious one is just sitting there. And Mbappe's record this season is absolutely incredible, and to get that kind of price when you look at all the statistics and all the goal averages this season and all these shots and shot. It's a question of how low can Bet Rivers go, and I don't think they've gone low enough with their quote on Mbappe. So, yeah, sometimes we overthink things and overlook things where the obvious is staring us in the face. And Mbappe is an obvious selection, but it's still a value selection.
James Easton agrees. Totally agree on Mbappe. He says, I think he'll be 200% keen to avenge that crazy defeat versus Benfica a few weeks ago. And yeah, that's the interesting thing about this game. Will it be like that, or will it be a lot tighter? First leg, of course. And the referee angle, Francois Letexier is in the middle here, a referee that only averages 2 cards per game this season. I think that's one of the reasons they've put him in for this fixture, really, because they know he'll calm things down. I've watched that referee for a long time. He does sometimes like to lay down an early marker of a yellow, if you know what I mean, Nigel. But he rarely loses control of a game. He has usually really good control.
Yeah, I looked at his Champions League record: five matches and only 10 yellow cards. Like, that's the lowest of any, and this is the one that's got. But again, I think it all goes crazy in the second legs. It's the first leg doesn't necessarily go mad. I'd be looking more to unders here. I know the line hasn't really adjusted much. Bet Rivers have actually been quite careful with the line. It's still 2.5, but very heavily juiced up on the over. But I would probably look for more like under the 2.75 because, historically when teams get such a shock win like that. Real Madrid will work so hard on the things they won't give away many corners, they won't give away free kicks, set pieces, which Benfica was so much better than them at. And I think they'll pay a lot of respect to them after them scoring 4 goals past them. So I would be looking for low goals. And when you've got low goals, just one bit of brilliance from the best player on the pitch can change it. And Mbappe is the best player on the pitch.
He certainly is. Last season, by the way, in this playoff round, 6 out of 8 matches in the first leg ended over 2.5 goals, but only one of them ended over 3.5 goals. And both teams to score no landed in 4 out of the 8 first leg ties. So it was generally actually quite tight overall there last season.
It's been a massive uptake in the Champions League when it first come on. I remember when it first come on, the first match of knockout stages, the last 16 quarterfinals, they were always like under 2.5. You could bet under 2.5 blind and you'd make money. So the game has completely changed here, but I just do think that Mourinho is more of a tactician, and he's more of a, I think he'll think if we can get this 0-0, 1-0, I'd love to go to the Bernabeu and really have a go at them and frighten the life out of them. Obviously, he's going to want to win this match. But if he goes toe to toe with Real Madrid here in this match, which takes on a little bit more, I just don't see any logic for it. I think be a bit more cautious. So I'm just erring against the recent trends and just thinking this might be a little bit cagey. And a lot of these matches are closely. I mean, if you look at the betting last year, I looked at some of the matches last year in this stage. There was quite a lot of minus money favourites in those matches, which reduced goals. There's only one minus money favourite in these 4 today. They're very, very close in the betting. So that usually brings in less goals than more goals.
For those who do like their corner plays, I quite like over 9.5 corners in this game. I think it's probably the one match I would bet on the corners here. Main reasoning, since Real Madrid's new manager came in, they've definitely been trending more towards corners, and I've noticed that they've been playing a little bit wider. But I'm not going to ladder it or anything. Over 9.5 corners is plus money with Bet Rivers, so I'm going to have a little nibble of that one. The breakdown for the game, 90% of the money's on Real Madrid, 82% of the tickets there, and surprisingly 86% of the money's on the over for this game as well. The biggest bet placed on the game though is plus 1.5 on Benfica for $3,500. So yeah, best of luck whatever you are taking in that particular game. That's a reminder of the daily double, Mbappe to score, and Nuno Mendes over 0.5 shots on target plus 341. Okay, one more Champions League game to discuss. Actually, before that, just having a look at some of the comments. Quite a few people liking the Real Madrid team total here, over 1.5 goals. And yeah, our Father Brian, that's an interesting one, actually. Card first 15 minutes. If you could get to maybe 27, 28 minutes, then I could see Letexia dishing early to lay down a marker. Final game then, Dortmund versus Atalanta. 2 teams I can rarely ever get right, so I am not going to get involved heavily in this one, Nigel. Dortmund are the favourites, plus 112. Atalanta plus 240. I'm hoping you can help me out here, Nigel, because I've really struggled with both sides. Do you like anything?
I quite like the home side here. I quite like Dortmund at plus 112. I think they've had a good season, actually. They started off the season thinking that, we rated them as probably one of the 3rd or maybe even 4th teams in Germany at the beginning of the season. But they're clearly the 2nd best. Their home form has been solid. That's what you want to do whenever Dortmund play. Their home side has been pretty good. They've been involved in some really brilliant matches, so entertaining in the Champions League this season. Tottenham defeat was a bit of a shock, but it was the last game of the season, after the group stage. All the other games have been quite interesting to watch. They take on an Atalanta side, though, that are unbeaten in Italy this year, which is quite incredible, really. 7 wins and 2 draws in 2026. But the Champions League, they haven't been that great. They've lost both of their matches in the Champions League in 2026. So it's a funny thing because we talk about a lot of teams that have got such mixed form. The best Tottenham, Monaco, Atlanta, they're all very similar. They've got mixed form in the competition of the domestic league and the Champions League. I just get the home factor here. That yellow wall tonight will get them over the line, and I think they've got a goal scorer in Galatasaray who's just just on fire again, another player, and I think he's a big price to score anytime tonight. He's plus 125. You can bet him at 2 to score 2 or more at 7-1, which I think if they score, his goals recently are just incredible. I mean, he's got the last 6 Atalanta road matches have all gone under 2.5 goals, but Galatasaray's got 5 goals in his last 3 starts for Dortmund. He's an out-and-out striker. He's one of the best strikers in European football, and I think his goals will help Dortmund tonight. So I'm going for the home side. I want to get that traditional European nights there in Dortmund. They're always electric and always hard to beat. Atalanta have a big match of the weekend away at Napoli as well, with their slim hopes of trying to get into the Champions League football. They've got to win that sandwich between these 2 big matches against Dortmund. And I think that the man in form was going to get the goal. So I'm going to go for Dortmund to win this match and Galatasaray to score at any time.
I actually am predicting a Dortmund win. So it's usually a good sign to go against me whenever I predict something. I'm not big on it, though. Dortmund have been, quite impressive this season, like you said, Nigel. Atalanta, I struggle with them really badly. I do rate the manager, though, Rafael Pellegrino. I think he's done really well since he came in at the club, replacing Juric, of course, who was terrible in the first half of the season. A lot of people liking Seru Girasay.
I call it Girasay. I couldn't Girasay.
I don't know.
I can never pronounce the name. I googled pronunciation to find out his name today because I can never. People have. I'm the world's worst at pronunciations of names. Steve Wyss, Jack Wrighty, Will Whitty. I get them all wrong. But I always get his name wrong. But all I do know, he's very good at scoring goals, and at plus 120, I think he's a bet. That's the only thing I do know.
I think it's Jurassic, but I always kind of get it wrong as well.
They said to me on the Google pronunciation, Girasay. So Girasay is what they pronounce it. But anyway,
yeah, he does come alive in the Champions League. The Juventus lineup is out, by the way. McKennie is starting in that false 9 position, like you predicted, Nigel. So I mean, he's got to be a bet. I think I'd imagine I'll have a check actually. Shot on target, probably minus money for that now. Real Brandon King's going Dortmund win here at home with that yellow wall. The interesting bet that I was considering was actually Dortmund to qualify, minus 120. I think they've just got a bit more Champions League know-how and nous over the last few years than Atalanta. So they normally find a way, don't they, into that certainly quarterfinals. Even made the final was it 2 years ago? They made
3
the
years
final.
ago, Wembley, Real Madrid.
Yeah,
and they should have won. They were a much better team in the first half.
Yeah.
But I mean, they just turn up. I think all these games tonight. I mean, when you've got a guy who puts the ball in the back of the net and an outer striker, that gives you a great chance. And Galatasaray have got a proven striker. Dortmund have got a proven striker. Real Madrid have got a proven striker, and all 3 of them are plus money. So, I was saying Galatasaray are big plus money, but I got a feeling tonight that Dortmund will win this, and I like them to qualify, and I think Girasay and Dortmund to win. Girasay to score and Dortmund to win comes in at about 2 plus 250, which isn't a bad for their bet for me.
71% of the money's on Dortmund, 63% of the tickets. They're actually the least supported of all the favourites today, which actually surprised me slightly. 93% of the money is on the over for this game. Just as a reminder for those people who bet with Bet Rivers in New York or New Jersey, do take advantage of the Champions League bonus bets from Betting Weekly. Enter the bonus code BW216 for a $10 bonus bet to use on the Champions League knockout round matches. That code is BW216, and it's available to Bet Rivers bettors in New York or New Jersey. I know quite a lot of you did put in the comments that you're going to make use of that. Eligible players only. It must be 21, and you've got until February the 25th for this bonus bet. BW216 if you bet with Bet Rivers in New York or New Jersey. So yeah, that concludes the Champions League talk today. Other action around, we've got championship action, we've got tennis is more sociable hours now.
You don't want to. We said we were going to come on to the tennis after we spoke about the champ. There's two bets I like. I like a girl called Elia to beat Jasmine Paolini. She was plus 225 yesterday. She got back down to plus 160, but she's just started, Stephen. She's broken her already. She's 3-1 up, but I think she'll beat Jasmine Paolini. And Carlos Alcaraz is just started now against Artur Rinderknech. And I think this is a real. This is going to be a lot closer than as odds suggest. Actually, I've bet over 10.5, over 9.5 in set number 1. And I've bet over 10.5 in set number 1 at a very, very tasty price. Rinderknech has given Alcaraz all kinds of problems previously. So if you want to get on it in play with Bet Rivers now, there's 2 bets there I quite like. In regards to the championship, I haven't really looked at the championship, really. I will give up. I went to see QPR at the weekend play Blackburn, lost 3-1. They're absolutely awful. But there is one bet I actually do like, which I've bet tonight on League 2. If you can get on this, MK Dons are hosting Crawley. MK Dons are a side that have got a lot of money in League 2. They're owned by some of the Kuwaiti royal family own MK Dons. They put some money, bought some players. I've actually bet them to win League 2, and it's a disaster because my local team, Bromley, are going to probably stop them from winning it. But I do think they're the best team in the division. They're on a roll at the moment. When they're hot, they're really hot. They're unbeaten in their last 8 matches. They've won 5 of their last 6. They're very, very hard to beat. And they're up against a Crawley team who are in free fall at the moment, lost their last 3, haven't scored a goal. And they haven't won Crawley. Well, they've won against Harrogate, your team, in January. And they beat Barrow in January. And then prior to that, their last win was in November. So they've only had 2 wins in about 17 matches. They go to MK Dons tonight, who are absolutely on fire. They're heavy minus money, MK Dons, but I do like MK Dons -1 on the Asian handicap at around about -110. I can't see MK Dons not winning that by at least more than 1. And obviously, you've got the advantage if they do win just by 1, you get the push as well. So that was it. But yeah, if you're getting on in play, just have a look at this over 9.5, over 10.5. Carlos Alcaraz, Rinderknech. And Rinderknech here could give him a proper match. There's been a lot of tie breaks when these two played, and the record overs has cashed in every single one of their heads as well. I think it was only like 19.5. So I give him a good chance today to give Alcaraz some problems. And I think Elia's a player that's going to go far in the women's game. And I think she'll beat Paolini, but we missed the boat a little bit on that.
Yeah, I mean, what's the schedule for the rest of the week in terms of tennis content on the channel, Nigel? We'll have a couple more game betting matches. Yeah,
we've been doing good form actually. We had a couple of winners today on the show with Tim, and Tim's had 2 big winners on the WCA show, plus 180 winner and an even money winner, and he's got Elia to win the first set here, so we could have a sweep here, nice prices. Myself and Sean have just recorded betting weekly game bet matches. He's now live. We're back tomorrow betting weekly game bet match, and on Monday I'm going to Dubai for a holiday and heading to the tennis, so you'll be able to follow us on our socials because we win on Instagram as well.
Very good. Indeed. We do have a graphic for the lineups for the early game. For those who are interested, McKennie starting up front, that is the big news for Juventus. Openda not even put in the starting 11 there. Victor Osimhen starts for Galatasaray as expected. As I say, if you're joining late or watching on demand,
there's no Icardi, there's no Sane. It's not great for Galatasaray, is it? Really?
Sane, Icardi's injured, I do believe, and Sane, it's Sane. I expect him to play actually.
That's not great. That's not great for that team. Who isn't brilliant for Galatasaray, but I still think that's a formidable place to go, and I still think that the market is a little bit disrespectful. No surprise to see Galatasaray out to plus 230 now on the back of the team news. That's more positive for Juventus than Galatasaray, that team news, but I still think that Osimhen to score any time. I'm going for these strikers, Osimhen, Mbappe, and Galatasaray tonight to score any time. That's what I like.
Icardi's actually on the bench for this game. They've got Sané on the bench, and they've got Gundogan on the bench. Quite a strong bench for Galatasaray. They could change the game if they need to, which is a real positive there. Let's remind people of the daily double. Kylian Mbappe to score any time, and Nuno Mendes over 0.5 shot on target, plus 341. And I mean, that's my best bet of the day, Nuno Mendes, for that player prop. Is your best bet of the day Mbappe to score still, Nigel?
That's my best day in the Champions League. I think my best bet on the day is the -1 goal for MK Dons tonight in League 2 in English football. But obviously, it's a Champions League show, and best bet in the Champions League is an obvious play. But that man, Mbappe, on fire, bidding to make history, 13 goals already, going to win the Golden Boot, probably win the Ballon d'Or. hopefully he doesn't win the World Cup.
I know a lot of Harrogate Town supporters will be cheering on.
They're not going to win. They're not going to win a Ballon d'Or. Anyone from there, Steve? Don't worry about that.
Father Brian says, "When is the World Cup futures?" I think he asked this on one of the videos yesterday as well. But
let's get the season over. There's quite a lot of football to be going at the moment. Let's get the season over. We'll worry about the World Cup at the end of the year.
Thank you, everyone who joined live or on demand. Put in the comments what your best bet is, if you've not already. But so many of you joined live. Really appreciate your support. Anyone new, do please consider subscribing to the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. And, of course, any likes as well. We want to get as many likes as we possibly can. Tomorrow, I will be back on Betting Weekly Live with Will White. And I don't know, has he got a jacket yet or not, Nigel?
That's in the post. It's on the post. It's in the post. But we've got one from Giacomo. He's got one from Giorgio Armani. We have to get it. We're waiting. We have to get it tailor made at the moment. Only the best for young William.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that. The other 4 Champions League games, we've got a rogue Premier League game to discuss tomorrow as well. Wolves against Arsenal. But Nigel, it was a great pleasure as always, and let's hope in the year of the fire horse that we get off to a good start.
Well, the omen is we got that right in 90. There was no prep. There was just we called that straight away, 1966. That is an omen tonight. Nepal have just won the cricket. Brilliant. I said them at the beginning of the show, and hopefully we cash a load of tickets. I've got a feeling tonight's the big night for the Daily Double, Steve. We can do it.
Let's cash those tickets. Come on, everyone. Take care. Remember to gamble responsibly, and I'll see you tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live. Goodbye, y'all.